All right, you guys, welcome into today's team call. Today is, I don't even know the date, August 16. And I am super, super excited, you guys, to be here with you today. And my kids started school today, and so my morning's been a little different because we've all been on school schedule, and normally I'd be like sleeping or just getting up right now, so this is kind of weird. But it's all good. It's all good. So if you guys had kids that went back to school today, I pray they have a really good day and that they get good teachers and make all these kind of friends and don't feel left out of anything and any of that kind of stuff that we all tend to worry about as parents. So welcome to today's call, you guys. We are going to get a little deeper than what we're used to probably on these calls, and I'm hoping that as I share with you guys what I recently went through on a call with one of my newer mentors, Josh Coates, C-O-A-T-S. If you're not following him, he actually works with a lot of us Beachbody coaches on how to discover our brand and our niche, and how to share things that have been hard that we've gone through in life, but how to take those hard things and then incorporate them into our business. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. But before I do, I just want to give a couple of shout outs. One, I wanted to give a shout out to Angela Lentz, who is super, super close to hitting Success Club, you guys. She's a newer coach. And just within the last week, like, she has, brought on a couple of challengers. She's super psyched. And we all know how that feels. Well, most of us, unless you're a newer coach, you're, discovering how that feels. But, most of us can remember how that felt the very first time that someone said yes to us, that they, want us to be their coach. And, they want to purchase that challenge pack from us. It feels dang good. So I wanted to say a huge shout out to her because she's doing a great job connecting with her friends and inviting them. I also want to say another shout out to our very own Lori Post, who has also brought on a challenger this month, working very, very hard, is on, praise Jesus, is on the Team Cup with me. And we're all working really, really hard, towards our common goal of helping as many people as we can to inspire them towards their health and fitness goals. So congratulations, you guys. All of us are working hard. Even though we might not have brought on somebody with a challenge pack yet, like, I'm seeing other people on our team, like, Sarah Larkin, Vanessa Caudo. I'm probably just watched that name, the last name. But, I mean, all of you guys are working so super hard. You're doing the daily behaviors of a coach, and I promise it's going to pay off. It will pay off as long as you stay consistent and people see that you're showing up every day to your business. You're going to inspire them, and they're going to be like, okay, let's do this. So congratulations, you guys. Keep up the great work. Couple of announcements. We will be having a team challenge through our challenge tracker app. So if you have not downloaded it yet, I believe it's called Team Beachbody Challenge Tracker app or something like that. But go into your app store, and it's pretty easy to find because no one else is called Team Beachbody. So I'm sure it'll be really fun, easy for you to find. So download that app, and then we will actually start on September the 5th, which is the very first Monday of September. So as you're talking to people this month, let them know, okay? And you can, as you're using the script, all right? And that this is what I'm doing right now, and people are like, what? But in that section of the script where you actually lay out what they're getting, and it has the cost, and here's the program, and here's what comes with the program. What I'm doing at the very end of it, you could do it wherever, but like for me, I'm doing it at the very end, big, like, capital letters, all caps, bonus. When you join by, and I'm saying August 29, because I like to give, I don't like to do it on the last day of the month because our website's super, super busy, and sometimes people can't get their orders in. So I like to do it a couple days before, so that way no one's getting a busy signal and blah, 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 and you can get it in. So when you join by August 29th, you will be included in a, super exclusive diet bet where you have the opportunity to win up to $1 million, split the pot of up to, and actually they're going to make it go up to 3 million as we sell, all of us corporately as coaches, everyone, over 450,000 coaches. Each challenge pack that we're selling this month, $5 goes towards that pot. So it can go up to $3 million that we could split, which is pretty cool. So make sure that you let people know that that is a bonus that they will receive when they join you. Who does not want to win money? There's a lot of there's even a website, if you guys don't know this, dietbet.com or something, where people actually, pay in. So they like this. There's a lot of people that do this. So because it's very popular already in the market, if we talk about it, people are gonna know what Diet Bet is, okay? So just let them know that you have your own super exclusive one that will be in a smaller group where we can keep, up with everybody and make sure they're reaching their goals. So talk about that. And then also Fixate, our very own cooking show, is coming on Beachbody On Demand. I'm super excited about it. I've already been watching the 20s, and I showed it to Joshua yesterday, and he's like, so if they get kicked out, then they're not going to be, so it's pretty cool to have my kids understand and kind of be a part of this brand new show. So if you haven't seen that, go online. It's awesome on Beachbody On Demand. And then also the cooking show will be available, I believe, this coming Friday is what we're thinking. But go into the back office. The exact date is for sure in the back office. And then, of course, make sure you are checking your back office every day, because every day they have coach breaking news. So there's something they put out for us every day, whether it's motivation, whether it's just announcements, new contests. Sometimes we'll run a daily contest. If you sell a challenge pack today, you get, blah, 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 blah. Carl's been known to give out money and all this fun stuff. So make sure you check that. Okay. So that is it for announcements. Now, today we're going to talk about how to share our super, super hard stuff. And it's hard, right? I mean, it's not something that, hard times in our life are not something that we like to relive or rehash or focus on, because when we do, it can make it hard for us to be happy, that day. But I do want to tell you guys that there's people out in the world that are going through the same exact thing that you have gone through already, and you have come out on the other side, and they need your voice. They need to know that they can come out of it too. And so, you need to remember how you felt, all the bad, ugly junk, the mental tripping that you were going through, the nights that you might have cried yourself to sleep, the times when you didn't feel adequate or felt, like you didn't have confidence in yourself to do the things that you needed to do. Whatever those struggles are, I want to encourage you guys to go backwards, or maybe you're going through it now. Maybe your hard stuff is right now. If it's now or before, okay? If you haven't gone through anything in your life, you will, all right? I mean, that's just part of life. So if nothing bad has happened to you yet, praise God, okay? But it's coming, because no human goes through life, I'm sorry, but no human goes through life without some curveballs coming in. I mean, it's just not normal. So you will have something. So if you don't have something that has happened to you, maybe connect with someone in your family. Maybe, you could see the pain that they went through as they went through cancer, or, a job loss or relationship loss. Maybe you saw your mom cry herself to sleep, something like that. So you want to just connect to something, okay? And remember how it feels, and train yourself to think like other people are thinking in the world. We need to learn to speak their language. So I'm going to give you guys an example, and this is not fun at all for me to talk about. I'm 43, so I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life. I mean, it's just, you know, the older you live or the longer you live, the more you go through. So you can pick anything that you want in your life that you've gone through. It doesn't have to just be like one thing that you talk about all the time. It could be, you know, maybe it's multiple things, but you want to, you know, just relate, right? So I'm just going to give you guys some examples. I actually wrote these down. All right, so here's some things that I've gone through for me personally. So when I was younger, I was one of those kids that kind of got teased for wearing glasses. So that was one thing, and I remember crying a lot about that. Also, I always have had this hard time fitting in, and it's because of my own confidence in myself. Okay, so while other people might have been ready to accept me into their group, because I let my fear and insecurity rule me my whole life pretty much, I never got relaxed to the point where I had that confidence to walk up and say hi to people. I mean, I don't know, I was very, very to myself in school a lot. And people used to take that as, well, she must be stuck up, you know. And I remember talking to people later, like my senior year, a lot of those popular kids, when I kind of was coming out of my shell a little bit more towards the end of school, you know. And this one guy I remember, and I've grown up with him since like junior high, he said, you know, Heather, you could be in our group. Like, you could be in any group you want. But I'm going to tell you right now, people think you're stuck up. And, you know, you being quiet to them is equaling that you're being stuck up. Now, you might be really scared and fearful, but it's not coming across, you know, like that. So I found that to be very, very interesting. And that actually has gone, I've taken what he said my whole life, and remember that when I'm in a scenario or situation that feels uncomfortable, maybe I'm meeting someone for the first time, or you know, maybe I'm running these team calls and I get nervous. I mean, whatever it is, like, I try and remember how my actions, my face, like my facial expressions, if I'm being engaged or if I'm reading my phone, like, how are people going to take that if, you know, like, you're leading a meeting and someone doesn't look engaged. Like, I try and remember how it feels to not have someone be engaged with you. So like, when I'm on a team call, I try and do my best to like turn off Facebook and, you know, do all those things that could be distracting, because you know, you want it to appear like you're being interested in what another person's saying. So, you know, there's different things like that. I've also gone through two very painful miscarriages, which that's probably one of the things that I'm going to start talking more about, because in my private conversations with people, I run into a lot of people that have had miscarriages. So I know it's very common. The doctors have always told me it's like 1 in 3 pregnancies that end in a miscarriage. So it's a pretty high thing, you know, that happens. And so I've gone through a lot of, you know, other things. I won't take up too much of our time on the call, but what you want to do, so I'll take the miscarriages thing. Okay, so in order for me to connect with people that have gone through miscarriages, I have to remember how it felt when I had one. Okay, so, you know, oh my God, I just remembered right now the shock of like going into the doctor's office, and I was supposed to find out the sex of the baby that day, and to go in and them not to be able to find a heartbeat. I mean, you guys, that was a huge blow to me. Okay, so see how easy I could cry over that? I still have that emotional connection like that to that incident that happened. I mean, Josh is now what, 11? He'll be 12 in January. That first miscarriage happened about 3 or 4 years before he was born. So, I mean, that was a long time ago. But I still remember that day. And so you want to connect to something like that, okay? And then when you go online and you go to make your post, okay, I'm going to give you an example of how Josh told us on how to post. Okay, so hold on a second. Okay. So he said, in order for us to really meet people where they're at, we have to dig into our own pain. So a post could be like when I was going through, or, you know, like how I just described to you, you know, I still remember the day when I, you know, was going to go in to find out the sex of the baby. And, you know, the biggest blow of my life happened to me where I found out that my baby didn't have a heartbeat. And I found out that he was actually dead, or he or she, inside me. You know, and so you connect and you talk about how you felt during that moment. It's going to be really hard for you guys to write this stuff out, you guys, okay? You'll probably be crying as you write this, and that's actually a good thing because you want, first of all, to cleanse yourself. It's really good to do that. But also you want someone to feel connected to you emotionally. Okay. So you want to share your emotions. Share how you got sick of feeling whatever that feeling was and what you did to get out of that feeling. Okay, so for me, I actually went through 2 miscarriages. Okay, so the second time that this happened, it was actually more emotional. And I know we got guys on the team now, so I'm not going to say the particulars, but you know, I was very, very mad at God after the second time because I'm like, God, how could you allow the same thing to happen twice? And I grew up thinking that God would not allow the same exact thing to happen in your life. I don't know where I got it from, growing up in the church, I don't know. But my faith was tested big time when that second miscarriage happened. I started to doubt God. I started to doubt, you know, that he was even out there, real. And my faith was, I guess they call it shaken, right? And I was like, what? You know, and I literally shut down on God. I was so angry and I was so pissed off that it happened again. And would I be able to give Chuck a baby of his own? And I mean, so many things were going through my head. And so, you know, I wasn't perfect in the sense that I came out of that emotion right away. I mean, it took me months, you know, of going through the pain and then finally going back to church one day and hearing a guest speaker, so not even the pastor, which I know this is all God doing all this stuff, you know, like I see it today, but when you're in the middle of it, you're like, why? You know, why is this happening to me? But I remember this guest speaker, and he was like, taught this lesson on how to give thanks in all things, like give God thanks in all things. And I remember crying, like, how can I give God thanks over this painful situation? How? Like, I don't even have it in me. And I just remember, though, that I became open to the possibility during that service that I could eventually give thanks. And me being open to that just let the floodgates, and I was crying like a baby during that service. And I remember going forward for prayer and just sharing like my heart and what was going on. And this guy that I didn't even know called all these women that he knew had had miscarriages. Susie, you, come over here and let's pray over this girl. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so hard and so emotional, but that day started my journey to healing. And that day started my journey to, you know, saying, okay, God, I know you're going to bring something good from this. And guess what? He did. He brought me Joshua. I only planned to have one baby with Chuck, you guys. So had those first 2 babies lived, I wouldn't have had Joshua. And so that is how I've learned to think about it now, you know. And so you want to go from your pain and, you know, what you've gone through and then how you've gotten better through it. And then at the end of the post, sorry, it's so hard to share that stuff. Hold on. I'm not seeing where I wrote it. Okay, well, I'll just go off memory. So basically, he talked about how after you share and you connect to a person's emotions, how you then say, can you relate? So are you going through the same thing? Or like, have you ever had miscarriages? Are you, still going through the pain of those miscarriages? Are you dealing with the same, anger at God? Are you, still can't believe that it happened to you? Do you feel like you're ever going to have, not have a baby? Like, so you ask questions like that based off of what you just shared, okay? And then, do you need extra support going through this? Comment below, and we can be a support to each other. So do you see how in none of that you're actually inviting them to join a challenge group? So what Josh was sharing and teaching about the other day was so miraculous, because I haven't even heard a training like this. It's normally, challenge pack, challenge pack, challenge pack. I'm looking for 5 boss women or whatever. I'm looking for 5 people who can't stand where they're at in their weight and want, you guys, we are more than just health and fitness coaches, right? Like, we are people that have gone through a lot of things in life, just like everybody else. And so if everybody else is out there speaking a language and we could relate to them because we've gone through that, how much more of a connection will we get with those people, that when we go to talk about health and fitness eventually, that they will be more apt to say yes because they feel more connected to you, right? So that's why people join. That's why people join your team. That's why people join your challenges. It's not for the 21-day fix. It's not for the 22-minute hardcore per se. I mean, that's going to be the tool they use, right? But it's more because they are connecting with you and they just want to do life with you, okay? And so that's how you guys are going to find your niche market. This is how you're going to find, and this is what really excites me about this, is that this is how you're going to find those people that you are going to talk to, okay? Because you don't want to talk to everybody. You can, but then when they get into your challenge group, they might pop out and you might never see them again, because maybe you never had that connection with them and they're not, wanting to show up for you. That also equals for themselves, right? So you want to find your niche market, and how you're going to do that is by sharing the hard stuff, talking their language, okay? And you can also incorporate the same language when you're looking for people to join your team. So you can actually, say something like, you're looking for people to help motivate and mentor that have gone through, blah, 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 blah. So then, like, even inside your team page, you can start incorporating this language too, that, we are a family of people helping each other get through this stuff. And we're taking this stuff, our stuff, and we're taking that experience and everything, and we're drawing other people in, we're attracting other people to follow us and to join us that want to go on the same mission to, I'm just going to throw some stuff out there, to help get over anxiety, to help get over depression, to help get over abuse. I mean, we've gone through so much, you guys. All of us have gone through different things, okay? We all are going to be speaking to different crowds. What I have found on our team, and I know it's because I've shared stuff, I attract people that have struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and I've been very open about those things on my social media. And I really feel like people that say yes to joining the team and yes to joining the challenge struggle with that. And I think it's good because we can relate and we can say, hey, I've gone through that, I'm getting better. Here's the steps that are helping me. And we can actually be helping people in those areas, right? So I hope that this helps you guys. Do you have any questions, Lori? No? I mean, does it make sense? So I'm going to put you on the spot, Lori. Let me unmute you. Okay, Lord. So if anyone else is on the phone, I pick on them. Can I hear you? Let me hear.
I'm here.
Okay, good. So I already like know you as a person, but can you, to help other people that might be watching this on the recording, can you share with me like something hard that you are either going through right now or that you've gone through before that's like so hard and you would really rather not talk about it, but if it's going to help somebody else, maybe you will talk about it.
I mean, I've always had, like, I feel like I've always had anxiety, like, since I was 2. I don't really remember a time without anxiety. But it got really, really bad when depression kicked in too in high school. And I want to say was, but I still kind of am a perfectionist. And I wanted everything to be the best. And I wanted to do the best, like on grades. And I wanted to participate in everything because I wanted to I wanted to go to UCLA. Like since middle school, I wanted to go to UCLA. And I knew that like so much was expected on like your college application. And so I was involved in everything. And in all the groups I was in, I had to be on the board. So I was in choir, and there I was what was I in choir? I think I was a treasurer. In madrigals, I was the president. In ASB, I was a treasurer. In a National Honor Society, I was secretary or something. I don't even remember what all I was in. Like there was a lot. And then I started having panic attacks, and I'd start I would go through like events and I'd be like super excited and super pumped and like everything would go well, and then as soon as it was done, I would pass out.
Oh
And,
man.
like, they would bring in the ambulances and I'd get sent to the hospital, and it would take me a whole other day to recover because they'd say I was just like suddenly dehydrated, but I was like beat the next day. And that was going on. My parents were scared to send me off to college because of it, which is understandable, but I still went. And it happened a couple times that like at work. It happened one time. I used to work in after school programs and I was in a classroom with 3rd graders, and I passed out on them.
Oh man.
And they saw it. They thought I died, and I went back once, like a week later, so they knew I was still there, but they were all in like counseling through the school because of it.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, I still feel really bad for those kids. Like, I hope like, they shouldn't still be traumatized, right? Like, because I came back, like they saw me.
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah,
But I'm sure that made you kind of almost have like a little bit of guilt or something.
Yeah, I never went back into like with that job. I ended up like moving around. I didn't want to stay on one campus like the whole time. I kind of just substituted like weeks at a time, and I only stayed like a couple more months after that. And then
Because you were scared that something was going to happen, so you never wanted to stay long?
Yeah, and I was just scared of like being too stressed. I didn't want the responsibility with the kids. Like I wanted, if I moved around a lot, then there weren't like the relationships to be built. And then I wasn't overwhelmed because, oh, this is just like a temporary thing. Somebody else will be doing it later. Like, but then getting other jobs, like, because I only had like, I got a job as a waitress, and that was just like a little bit until I got like a full-time job. And with that, like I stuck it out until like the big old crash. But yeah, just with that one, I was done. No more kids. I haven't worked in schools since, and I don't intend to ever go back. I'll stick with my 2 kids.
Wow.
I nannied for a little bit with like one-on-one, but I had gone to a lot of counseling during all of that and after, and getting like medication adjusted, and it helped, but still always I'm still always scared that it could happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And my license got taken away. That sucked.
Oh, well, after that, they probably were like, well, maybe.
But yeah, I've always dealt with.
Has it gotten better over the years? Or like when you had kids and stuff, do you think that it got worse or?
It's just different. I don't suddenly like give. I don't want to say I was giving up, but it kind of felt like my body was. And I haven't had that.
That's good.
If anything, it's what's been going on lately. Like I feel like I can't breathe. Like I feel like there's something like on me.
Like a heaviness.
Where I have to like
Mm-hmm.
take deep breaths, and I've been meditating every day, but I still get like wound up just looking at things, like my schedule. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm like,
that perfectionism thing.
Look at all this stuff I want to do.
Yeah, so perfectionism, because I've dealt with panic attacks too. So I noticed that when I want to be perfect at something and it doesn't feel like I'm gonna be, that I tend to get that overwhelmed feeling, and I start imagining how the outcome's gonna be, that it's gonna be a negative one, and that normally can cause panic attacks, one of the things. So I don't know if that's what happens with you, but I do understand the heaviness and the breathing thing, because that's when you go from anxiety to the panic attack. So normally anxiety comes first, and sometimes it's that reactive mode where you're reacting to something, and you can talk yourself out of it at that stage a lot of times. No, I'm fine. This is not what's going to happen. Here's my reality, But then if you aren't able to, then you tend to go into that panic thing, and then you're like, yeah, then you're over. And then after you have a panic attack, you're so tired afterwards. I still remember that.
Like a day.
Out of your body. I know. So, because you've dealt with anxiety your whole life, you have such a big crowd to talk to, and you could actually breadcrumb all of those situations. You could breadcrumb all the way back. Have you ever dealt with, here's like, share a little bit of your story, how you dealt with it at the time. And then, even if it's not good, even if your decisions were running away because you didn't want to deal with it, like you can still talk about that. Because you're going to be relating to people that are in that situation right now. So there's still moms that run away, right? They can't deal with it. They get overwhelmed and they leave their kids. It's sad, but if you've ever gone through anxiety, you're going to understand that mental thought. It might be fleeting, it might leave, but you still would understand that thought of wanting to run away from your kids because it feels too much, sometimes. I mean, I've had thoughts like that, especially when I don't know how to deal with teenagers. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, but yeah, so you could kind of talk to that crowd and just share your story. Like, when I was younger, I can, I don't know how you want to start, but, as long as I can remember, I've always dealt with anxiety. I've always, had feelings of needing to be perfect. I can remember it started all the way back from, wanting to be the best at everything and wanting to be part of everything and not wanting to disappoint my parents and, being the best person so that I don't let anybody down, you know, so that I would be accepted, you know, in all things. And that's normally where perfectionism comes. So you can share that. And as I've gotten older, you know, you know, I got married, had kids, and now as a mom, you know, I still struggle with anxiety. It's a little bit different. It shows up in different places, but you know, it's still there. Some days I can't deal. Some days I don't even want to get out of bed. Some days I want to pull the covers over my head and pretend like I'm dead because I just can't deal with it right now. I can't deal with today. You know, and ask people, have you ever felt like this? Can you relate to me? Do you ever not want to get out of bed? Do you just want to cover up and run away from your responsibilities? You know, if that's you, I would love to, you know, to help you out, and maybe we can just support each other. I'm still going through it. I found a couple ways that help me, and maybe, you know, what's helping me right now can help you. You know, comment below if this is something that you feel, you know, might be a blessing in your life, or I don't know, however you want to, something like that. And then you'll be getting these comments, Lori. I've already seen 2 people in this Josh Coates group. I've been following them, going now and taking what they've learned and sharing it. I haven't done it yet because I feel like I have so much stuff that I've gone on. I'm like, what should I share about first? My divorce. I mean, so many things. So, but I have watched a couple of people do this, and the comments that they're getting are way more comments and engagement. I mean, we're talking, Lori, hundreds of likes, hundreds, not 5, okay, hundreds. Do you know what that's going to do to our reach? We are going to reach more people, which is what our goal is. We want to help as many people as we can, and it's not just in their health and fitness. It's in their mental journey, their spiritual journey, everything. So I hope that you guys can see the benefit of talking about stuff that you've gone through. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard, okay? So maybe your first story or post about this is going to be short because you don't want to share too much because you might crack, you know, and you might feel like you won't be able to work for a couple of days if you share too much, you know, because sometimes it's that hard. And you're like, you share and you want to run away and close the computer because you don't know what people's response is going to be. You know, you don't know if you're going to get haters or any of that kind of stuff. It's scary to share, but it's also scary not to share because, you know, we've gone through a lot, and I really feel like God takes our experiences and uses them for someone else that needs our help or that needs help in that situation. And I really think that that's what coaching is all about, is helping other people. And if we can help people with our story, why not? Why would we not do it? So I pray that you're, you know, encouraged to try this, okay? Just see what happens. You know, as you share more and more, you're going to get more traction, and you're going to get more people talking to you, and you're actually going to feel like you're helping people, which is what we want. And you're going to feel more connected to people, which is what we want, you know, too. We want to get friends out of this coaching thing. I love it. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining today's call. Lori, stay on afterwards. And I hope that you guys have an amazing week. Let's go kill it. And don't forget to share with people about the diet bet, because I know for sure they're going to want to join us in that. All right. So take care. And until next time, bye.